please. I'm begging you. I'll never do it again, I swear. How many? What? How many girls did you sell? The voice was cold, empty, like talking to a machine instead of a human. Park Min-ho sobbed, blood and snot running down his face. His hands were tied behind his back. His knees pressed into cold concrete. I don't know. Guess, maybe 200? Please, I was just trying to survive. 237. The correction came without any emotion. Ages 12 to 19. You promised them restaurant jobs, sold them to brothels in 6 different countries, made 40 million one off their pain. I didn't hurt them. The youngest was 12 years old. She killed herself after 3 months. Her mother used everything she had to hire me. Min-ho's eyes went wide with pure terror. No, wait. The gun rose. Wait, bang! The gunshot cracked through the warehouse like thunder. Min-ho's head exploded. Blood and brain matter sprayed across the concrete floor. His body fell forward, twitched once, then went still. Dead. Just like that. 1 bullet. No hesitation. No mercy. Kang Jae-sung stood frozen in the shadows, his heart pounding so hard he thought it might burst. He'd been watching the whole time. 20 minutes of that man begging, crying, pleading for his life. And then just nothing. Gone. Kim Tae-min lowered the gun slowly. His face showed nothing. No satisfaction, no disgust, not even boredom, just emptiness, like he'd just finished checking his email instead of ending a human life. He pulled out a white cloth from his pocket, wiped the gun clean. Methodical, precise, every movement controlled. Then those cold, dead eyes turned toward the darkness where Jae-sung stood hiding. You wanted to watch. Tae-min's voice was flat, almost bored. Are you satisfied? Jae-sung stepped into the dim warehouse light, his legs unsteady. His mouth felt dry. His expensive suit suddenly felt too tight. He'd seen people die before. You didn't rise to power in a Korean chaebol family without getting blood on your hands somehow. But never like this. Never this easy. This casual. Like killing was no different than breathing. They say you're the best, Jae-sung managed to say, trying to keep his voice steady. Bako. The White Tiger. 43 confirmed kills. You make people disappear like they never existed. 44 now. Tae-min gestured lazily at the corpse leaking blood onto the concrete. What do you want, Kang Jae-sung? You didn't pay me 50 million won just to watch me work. Jae-sung swallowed hard. This man, this thing standing in front of him covered in blood splatter, felt wrong. Like looking at a perfectly beautiful statue with nothing inside. No soul, no heart, no humanity. Perfect for what he needed. I need someone eliminated, Jae-sung said. Obviously. Tae-min holstered his weapon under his jacket. Who? My niece. That got the first reaction. Tae-min's head tilted slightly, like a dog hearing an interesting sound. Curiosity, maybe, or amusement. Family, Tae-min said. Messy. Complicated. Expensive. I'll pay whatever you want. Jae-sung pulled out a folder from inside his jacket. His hands shook slightly, and he hated that. Hated showing any weakness. But he couldn't help it. Being this close to Baiko felt like standing next to a bomb that could explode any second. My brother died 6 months ago, Jae-sung explained. Kang Dae-hyun. He built Kang Industries from nothing. Hotels, real estate, technology companies. 30 billion, one empire. I know who your brother was. Tae-min sounded bored. Then you know he left everything to his daughter. Jae-sung couldn't keep the poison from his voice. The rage, the humiliation. Not to me, his older brother. Not to family who actually understands our business. Our culture. To her. He slammed a photograph down onto a metal crate. A young woman, mid-20s. Beautiful. Dark brown skin that seemed to glow even in the cheap photograph. Natural black hair styled in elegant braids. Bright smile that looked like it belonged in a completely different world. A softer world. A kinder one. Tae-min picked up the photo. Looked at it with the same empty interest he might look at a restaurant menu. Kyoma Kang. Jae-sung spat the name out like it tasted bad. Half-breed. My brother married some Nigerian woman 30 years ago. Thought he was being modern. Progressive. Love conquers. All and all that bullshit. His laugh was bitter, ugly. He produced this thing. And now she sits at the head of my family's company. Tae-min said nothing. Just studied the photograph. She's not even fully Korean, Jae-sung continued, his voice getting louder as months of bottled rage finally poured out. She doesn't understand our culture, our traditions, how business works here. The board hates her. The shareholders mock her behind her back. The African girl playing CEO, that's what they call her. She's a joke, an embarrassment, and she has the nerve to act like she deserves what my brother built. Like she belongs in my family. You want her dead, Taemin said. Not a question, a fact. I want her gone. Jae-sung stepped closer, desperate now. My brother's will is perfect, airtight. I can't break it legally, can't contest it. The only way I inherit what's rightfully mine is if she dies before she has children. No heir means the company passes to the next closest family member, me, where it should have gone in the first place. Taemin set the photo down carefully. Timeline? 6 months. Before the annual board meeting, where she'll be officially confirmed as permanent CEO. Fee? Name your price. $7 million, all of it up front. Jae-sung's eyes widened. That was more than double what he'd expected. That's... You're asking me to kill a chaebol heiress, Taemin said flatly, his tone never changing. High-profile target, high risk, lots of security. Rich family means serious investigation if anything looks suspicious. That level of difficulty costs money. 7 million, or find someone else? Jae-sung ground his teeth together. 7 million. It would drain a significant portion of his personal accounts. But once Chioma was dead, and he inherited the company, he'd make it back in a month. Fine, he said. 7 million. Half up front, half when it's done. All up front. That's not how these things... Taemin turned to walk away. Wait! Jae-sung grabbed his arm without thinking, immediately regretted it when those dead cold eyes turned on him. Fine, all up front. $7 million. Just kill her. Taemin pulled his arm free. Slowly, deliberately, making it clear that Jae-sung only had that arm because Taemin allowed it. I'll stage an assassination attempt first, Taemin said, his tone back to that clinical, detached sound. Something public, violent enough to scare her. Kill her driver or a bodyguard. Make it look real. She'll panic. Her security will panic. They'll scramble to hire the best protection money can buy. And that protection will be you, Jae-sung said, understanding dawning. Exactly. Taemin's smile was sharp, cold, like a knife blade catching light. Best way to kill someone is to become the person they trust to keep them alive. I get hired as her bodyguard. Stay close to her. Learn her routines, her habits, her vulnerabilities. Earn her complete trust over 3 or 4 months. Then, when she's comfortable, when she thinks the danger has passed and she's finally safe. He shrugged casually. Accidents happen. She falls from her balcony. Her car goes off a bridge. She takes too many sleeping pills. I've done this exact thing 17 times before. It always works. And it always looks completely natural. Jae-sung felt something cold settle in his chest. Not quite fear. Not quite relief. Something in between. How long will it take? 3 months to build complete trust. Another month to set up the perfect opportunity. She'll be dead before autumn. Taemin picked up the photograph again, slipped it into his inside jacket pocket, and no one will ever suspect it was anything but a tragic accident. Just another young woman who couldn't handle the pressure of running a company. Another sad story about what happens when you give power to people who aren't ready for it. Perfect, Jae-sung breathed. When do you start? I already started. Taemin walked toward the warehouse exit, his expensive shoes making no sound on the concrete. He stepped over Minho's corpse, without even glancing down, like it was a piece of trash instead of what used to be a human being. At the door, he stopped, looked back over his shoulder. Transfer the money tonight. By this time next week, someone will try to kill Chioma Kang. She'll survive, barely. She'll be terrified, traumatized. And that's when I'll appear, her savior, her hero, her protector. He paused. That cold smile returned, her executioner. Then he was gone. Disappeared into Seoul's neon-lit streets like a ghost. Jae-sung stood alone in that warehouse. The smell of gunpowder and blood hung heavy in the air. He stared at the photograph of his niece that Taemin had left on the crate. Pretty girl. Bright smile. Completely unaware that her own uncle had just paid $7 million to have her killed. Soon she'd be dead. The company would be his. Everything would finally be the way it should have been from the beginning. What Kang Jae-sung didn't know What he couldn't possibly predict was that Kim Tae-min, the White Tiger, the man who'd killed 73 people in 15 years, without feeling a single thing, was about to meet the one person who would make him feel everything. And when a killer falls in love with his target, the whole world catches fire. 1 week later, Kyo-ma Kang stared at her father's photograph hanging on the wall of her corner office. Kang Dae-hyun, dead 6 months now. Heart attack at 58 years old, gone before she was ready. Gone before he could finish teaching her how to survive in this world. "You should have lived longer, Appa," Kyo-ma whispered to the photograph, using the Korean word for father he'd taught her as a child. "You should have prepared me better for all of this." But he hadn't, and now she was 26 years old, running a 30 billion won empire in a country that would never fully accept her, surrounded by people who wanted her to fail. Half Nigerian from her mother, half Korean from her father, an outsider wearing the Kang family name like a costume that didn't quite fit. Her phone buzzed on the desk. A text from her uncle. "How are you holding up? You've been working too hard. Let me take you to dinner tonight. 7 p.m. I'll send my car." Kyo-ma felt her chest loosen slightly. Uncle Jae Sung, the only who actually seemed to care, the only one who called regularly, who checked on her, who didn't look at her like she was a mistake. "That sounds perfect. Thank you, Uncle. See you at 7. She set her phone down and rubbed her tired eyes. Another 18-hour day almost done. Another battle survived. At 6:45 p.m., she grabbed her bag and headed down to the parking garage. Her driver, Mr. Kim, 62 years old, worked for her father for 15 years, was already waiting with the car. "Good evening, Miss Kang," he said with a warm smile as he opened the back door. "Evening, Mr. Kim." Kyo-ma slid into the leather seat, grateful to finally be sitting down. "Gangnam District. My uncle's restaurant." "Of course." The car pulled out into Seoul's evening traffic. Kyo-ma leaned her head back against the seat, scrolling mindlessly through her phone. Exhausted, not really paying attention to the city passing by the tinted windows. Just another normal evening, until it stopped being normal. The motorcycle came out of nowhere. 1 second the traffic was normal. The next second a motorcycle was right next to them. Too close. Moving too fast. The rider turned toward their car. Kyo-ma looked up from her phone just in time to see the gun. Everything happened in seconds, but felt like it was moving in slow motion. The rider raised the weapon, pointed it straight at her window. Mr. Kim's eyes went wide in the rearview mirror. Glass exploded inward. The sound was deafening, like the world was being ripped apart. Bullets tore through metal and leather. Mr. Kim's chest erupted in blood. His body jerked forward, then slumped over the steering wheel. Glass exploded inward. The sound was deafening, like the world was being ripped apart. Bullets tore through metal and leather. Mr. Kim's chest erupted in blood. His body jerked forward, then slumped over the steering wheel. The car swerved violently. Kyo-ma screamed, throwing her hands up to protect her face as more glass rained down on her. They jumped the curb, slammed into something hard. The airbags deployed with explosive force, hitting Kyo-ma in the face so hard she saw stars. Everything spun. Her ears rang. She tasted blood in her mouth. More gunfire. Louder now. Closer. Hands grabbed her roughly through the shattered window, dragged her from the wreckage. She tried to fight, but her body wouldn't respond properly. Everything hurt. "No," she gasped weakly. Then suddenly someone else was there. A man dressed all in black appeared like he'd materialized from shadows. He moved so fast Kyo-ma barely registered what was happening. He grabbed her attacker by the throat, slammed him against the ruined car with such force she heard bones crack. The attacker dropped like a puppet with cut strings. Another motorcycle roared up. More gunfire. Her savior, whoever he was, pulled a gun from somewhere and fired back. 3 shots, precise, deadly. Both motorcycles crashed. Bodies hit pavement and didn't move. Then he was pulling Kyo-ma away from the wreckage, one arm wrapped around her waist, his other hand still holding the gun. He moved her behind a concrete barrier and covered her body with his own. "Stay down," he said in Korean. His voice was calm, almost bored, like this was just another Tuesday. "Who are you?" Kyo-ma tried to ask. Another gunshot rang out. Her savior's body jerked slightly. He'd been hit, but he didn't even make a sound, just shifted position to keep her completely covered. Sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. Police, ambulances. Help was coming. The man stayed covering her until the sirens were right on top of them. Then he slowly pulled back, checking to make sure no more threats were coming. Keoma finally got a look at his face. Asian, maybe early 30s, handsome in a cold, sharp way, dark hair, eyes that looked completely empty, like looking into a well with no bottom. "You're safe now," he said simply. Then police officers were surrounding them, shouting questions, and when Keoma looked around for her savior again, he was gone. Vanished into the chaos like he'd never been there at all. Paramedics wrapped a blanket around her shoulders and checked her injuries. Cuts from the glass. Bruises from the airbag. Nothing serious. But Mr. Kim was dead. They'd covered his body with a sheet. She could see the blood pooling under it. Someone had just tried to kill her. Actually, truly tried to murder her in broad daylight in the middle of Seoul. And Keoma had absolutely no idea why. 2 days later, Keoma sat in her uncle's living room, unable to stop shaking. She'd barely slept since the attack. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Mr. Kim's chest exploding, heard the gunfire, felt the glass cutting her skin. "Who would want to kill me?" she whispered, her voice breaking. Uncle Jae-sung poured tea with steady hands, his face full of concern. He sat across from her, looking genuinely worried. "You're the head of Kang Industries now, Keoma. That kind of power comes with enemies. But I haven't done anything to anyone. I'm just trying to run the company the way Appa wanted. You exist. That's enough for some people." He set the teacup in front of her gently. "The business world is brutal. Competitors. People who think they deserve what you have. It only takes one person with enough hatred." Keoma wrapped her hands around the warm cup, trying to stop them from trembling. "The police have no leads. No idea who those men were. They're saying it might have been random." "It wasn't random." Jae-sung's voice was firm. "Random attackers don't bring that kind of firepower to a hit. This was planned, professional. Keoma, you need protection. Real protection." "I don't even know where to start." "I do." He pulled out a simple black business card from his pocket. "I made some calls after the attack. Asked around. There's a man, the absolute best in private security. Elite protection. He's kept diplomats alive. CEOs with actual death threats. His success rate is perfect." Keoma took the card with trembling fingers. It was simple, elegant, just a name and phone number. Kim Tae-min. Executive Protection Specialist. "Is Kim Tae-min," Jae-sung continued. "He's expensive, but he's worth every one. If anyone can keep you safe, it's him. When can I meet him?" "I already arranged it. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. He'll come to your office." Jae-sung reached across and took her hand, his touch warm and reassuring. "Keoma, I can't lose you too. You're all I have left of my brother. Let me help protect you. Please." Tears burned in Keoma's eyes. In a family that mostly treated her like an outsider, Uncle Jae-sung was the only one who'd ever made her feel like she belonged. The only one who called just to check on her, who remembered her birthday, who actually seemed to care. "Thank you, Uncle," she whispered. "I don't know what I'd do without you." He smiled warmly, squeezing her hand. "Family protects family. That's what your father would have wanted. And he meant every word. He just didn't mention that he was also the one who'd ordered the attack that killed Mr. Kim, or that Kim Tae-min was the same man hired to kill her in 4 months. The next day, at exactly 2 p.m., Keoma's assistant knocked on her office door. "Miss Kang, Mr. Kim is here for your appointment." "Send him in." The door opened and Kim Tae-min walked into her office. Keoma's first thought was that he looked dangerous, not in an obvious way. He wasn't covered in scars or tattoos. He wore an expensive, perfectly tailored black suit. His dark hair was styled simply. He was handsome, very handsome, with sharp features and smooth skin. But something about the way he moved made every instinct in her body go on alert. He walked with the fluid grace of a predator. His eyes, dark, almost black, swept the entire office in seconds, cataloguing the windows, the doors, the exits, the potential threats. This was someone who knew exactly how dangerous the world was because he was part of that danger. "Miss Kang?" He bowed slightly, formally. "I'm Kim Tae-min. Your uncle requested I assess your security situation." His voice was calm, professional, completely emotionless. Keoma stood, extending her hand. "Thank you for coming, Mr. Kim." His handshake was brief and firm. Professional. His hand was warm, but his touch was somehow cold at the same time. He immediately moved to the windows, checking the sight lines to nearby buildings. Tested the door locks. Examined the placement of her desk. "Tell me about the attack," he said without looking at her, still scanning the room like a computer processing data. Chioma recounted everything. The motorcycles appearing out of nowhere, the gunfire, Mr. Kim dying, the stranger who saved her and then vanished. Tae-min listened without any visible reaction. When she finished, he finally looked directly at her. "You're a high-value target now, Miss Kang. Wealthy, high profile, female. That combination makes you extremely vulnerable. Your current security is completely inadequate. If those attackers come back, and they will, you won't survive without professional protection." His bluntness should have scared her. Instead, it was almost refreshing. No sugarcoating, no false reassurances, just facts. "What do you recommend?" she asked. "I'll be with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'll live in your building. Screen everyone who comes near you. Assess all potential threats and neutralize them before they become actual threats. You won't go anywhere, office, home, meetings, anywhere, without me." That sounds intense. Someone just tried to kill you. Intense is appropriate. His expression didn't change, still completely blank. "If you hire me, Miss Kang, you'll be safe. That's what I do. That's what I'm the best at." Something about his absolute certainty made her believe him. "When can you start?" "Immediately. I'll move into your building tonight. My team will secure your apartment while you're here at the office. By the time you go home, everything will be ready." He pulled out a tablet. "I'll need your complete schedule, regular routines, favorite restaurants, gym, anywhere you go regularly. I need to know everything. Everything, everything." He looked at her directly, and those empty eyes seemed to see right through her. "If I'm going to keep you alive, Miss Kang, I need to know your life as well as you do. Maybe better. No secrets. No surprises. Understood?" Chioma swallowed hard. Something about this man unsettled her on a deep level, but she also felt safer in this room with him than she had in days. "Understood. You're hired. Good." He stood. "I'll coordinate with your building security and return in 3 hours. Don't leave this office until I'm back. And Miss Kang?" He paused at the door. "The people who attacked you? They're professionals. This won't be the last attempt. So from this moment forward, you trust no one except me. Not security guards. Not colleagues. Not even family unless I've cleared them first. The only person who can guarantee your safety is standing in front of you. Remember that." Then he was gone, leaving Chioma alone in her office, wondering if she'd just hired her protector or invited something dangerous into her life. She had no idea it was both. That evening, when Chioma returned to her apartment building, everything had changed. New security cameras covered every angle, new locks on her door, heavy, professional grade. Tae-min had taken the apartment directly across the hall from hers. "I'll do regular sweeps of your apartment," he explained as he showed her the security upgrades. "Check for listening devices, cameras, anything suspicious. Your mail will be screened. Food delivery will be checked. Anyone who comes to your door goes through me first. This feels like living in a prison," Chioma said, though she knew it was necessary. "It's living like someone who survived one assassination attempt and won't survive a second." He handed her a phone. "New phone. Encrypted. My number is programmed in. If anything feels wrong, anything at all, you call me immediately. I don't care if it's 3 in the morning or if you think you're being paranoid. You call—" Chioma took the phone. "Do you really think they'll try again?" "Yes. No hesitation, no comfort, just brutal honesty. Professional hit teams don't give up after one failure. They'll regroup, study what went wrong, come back with a better plan. That's why I'm here. To make sure the second attempt fails too." Over the next few weeks, Chioma learned what it meant to have Kim Tae-min as her shadow. He was always there, always watching. Always 3 steps ahead of every situation. When she went to the office, he cleared the elevator first, checked her office, positioned himself where he could see all entrances. When she had meetings, he stood against the wall, silent and still as a statue, but his eyes never stopped moving. Watching, analyzing. When she worked late, he was there. When she woke up at 2 a.m. and couldn't sleep, she'd look through her peephole and see him sitting in the hallway outside her door. Just sitting there, awake, alert, guarding. "Don't you ever sleep?" she asked him one morning. "I sleep enough," was all he said. He was professional, efficient, completely emotionless. He never smiled, never made small talk, Never gave any indication he saw her as anything other than a job. It should have made her feel like an object. Instead, it made her feel safe for the first time since her father died. But something else was happening too. Something neither of them expected. 3 weeks after Tae-min was hired, Chioma's aunt, her father's sister, came to visit the office unannounced. Aunt Min Seo, elegant, cold, always treated Chioma like a stain on the family name. "Chioma," she said, not even bothering with honorifics. "Just a name, like they were equals instead of aunt and niece. We need to discuss your position at the company." "I'm busy right now, Aunt." "This won't take long." Min Seo sat down uninvited, her designer handbag placed precisely on the desk. "The board is concerned. Your decisions have been questionable. Firing 3 senior directors without consulting anyone. Restructuring departments. Acting like you own the place." "I do own the place," Chioma said carefully. "Appa left the company to me. Your father made a mistake." Min Seo's smile was sharp as glass. "He was sick, not thinking clearly. He should have left it to family who actually understands our world, not his half-breed daughter who barely even speaks proper Korean." The insult hit like a slap. Chioma felt her face flush hot. "My Korean is perfect," she said quietly. "And I'm running this company exactly how Appa taught me." "You're running it into the ground." Min Seo leaned forward. "You don't belong here, child. You never have. Your mother was a mistake. You are a mistake. The sooner you accept that and step aside for real family, the better for everyone." Tae-min, who'd been standing silent by the wall the entire time, moved, not dramatically. Just a few steps that put him directly between Chioma and her aunt. His presence suddenly filled the room. "Miss Kang's schedule is full," he said, his voice flat and cold. "You need to leave." Min Seo looked at him like he was an insect. "Excuse me? I'm family. You don't tell me you're upsetting my client. That makes you a security risk. Leave now or I'll have you escorted out. How dare you? I'll have you fired." "No, you won't." Tae-min's tone didn't change. Still flat, still emotionless. But something in his eyes shifted, became colder, more dangerous. "Miss Kang hired me. Only Miss Kang fires me. And right now, she's done with this conversation. So you can leave on your own, or I can make you leave. Your choice." Min Seo stood up, shaking with rage. "This isn't over, you little." "Yes, it is. Goodbye." He opened the door, stood there, waited. Min Seo grabbed her bag and stormed out, throwing one last hateful look at Chioma. "Your father would be ashamed." The door closed behind her. Silence filled the office. Chioma sat frozen, her hands shaking slightly. No one had ever defended her like that. Her whole life, she'd taken the insults quietly, smiled through the racism, pretended it didn't hurt. "Thank you," she said softly. Tae-min returned to his position against the wall. "She was upsetting you. That's my job to prevent. Still, thank you." For the first time, he looked directly at her. Really looked at her. And for just a second, something flickered in those empty eyes. Something almost human. Then it was gone. "You don't have to thank me for doing my job, Miss Kang." But Chioma saw that flicker, and something inside her shifted. This cold, dangerous man, who showed no emotion, had just protected her from something worse than bullets. He'd protected her dignity, her humanity, and he'd done it without her even asking. 2 months passed. 2 months of Tae-min being her constant shadow, and in those 2 months, Chioma started to see cracks in his armor. Small things, barely noticeable. But there, the way he always made sure she ate, even when she was too busy and tried to skip meals. He'd appear with food from her favorite places. Never said anything, just set it on her desk and left. The way he positioned himself in meetings, always where he could see her face. And when someone said something that hurt her, some subtle dig about her heritage or age or gender, she'd see his jaw tighten. Just slightly. Just for a second. The way he stayed extra alert when her extended family was around, like he knew they were worse threats than any assassin. He saved her life twice more in those 2 months. Once when a delivery man tried to force his way into her apartment building. Tae-min had him on the ground with a broken arm in seconds. Once when someone tampered with her car's brakes. Tae-min caught it during his morning security check. If she'd driven that car, she would have died in a crash. Each time he was so calm about it. So professional. "Just doing my job," he'd say. But Chioma was starting to realize it was more than that. The way he looked at her when he thought she wasn't paying attention. The way his hand would hover near her back when they walked through crowds, not touching but protective. The way his voice got slightly softer when he said her name. Kim Tae-min was supposed to be a cold, professional bodyguard, but something was changing, and Chioma was changing too. She started looking forward to seeing him, started feeling safer, not just because he was good at his job, but because it was him. Started noticing little things, the way he moved, the rare moments when his expression softened, the intelligence in his eyes when he thought no one was watching. She was falling for her bodyguard, which was stupid, dangerous, completely inappropriate. But she couldn't help it. What Chioma didn't know was that across town, in an expensive restaurant, her uncle Jae-sung was having a very different conversation. It's been 2 months, Jae-sung hissed into his phone, making sure no one nearby could hear. 2 months, and she's still alive, still healthy, still running my company. What exactly am I paying you $7 million for? On the other end of the line, Taemin's voice was calm. Too calm. The situation is more complicated than anticipated. Complicated? You're supposed to be the best. The white tiger. You said 4 months maximum. We're halfway there, and you haven't done anything. I've saved her life 3 times. I don't want you to save her. I want you to kill her. Jae-sung's voice rose, then he caught himself, looked around, lowered his voice again. What's the problem? Silence on the other end. Tae-min, answer me. She's more difficult to eliminate than expected. Her routines are unpredictable. She works long hours. There are always people around. Finding the right moment takes time. But that wasn't the truth. 2 months passed. 2 months of Tae-min being her constant shadow. For Chioma, everything started changing in small ways she didn't expect. At first, Kim Tae-min was just her bodyguard. Cold, professional, a necessary presence after someone tried to kill her, but slowly she started noticing things. The way he knew when she was overwhelmed. On particularly hard days, when the board was brutal or her family said something cruel, he'd adjust his position, stand where she could see him. A silent reminder that someone was there. Someone who wouldn't leave. The way he handled her family. After that incident with Aunt Min Seo, she started talking to him more. Not just about security. About everything. Do you ever get tired of just standing there? She asked one late night when she was working past midnight. No, that can't be true. A pause. Then I've had worse jobs. Like what? He looked at her for a long moment. You don't want to know, Miss Kang. Try me. I used to work for people who didn't care if their targets lived or died. You're different. You're worth protecting. He said it simply, factually, like he was commenting on the weather. But something about those words made Chioma's heart skip. You're worth protecting. No one had ever said anything like that to her. Not like that. Not like it was an obvious fact instead of an opinion. She was falling for him. It was stupid. Inappropriate. He was her employee. Her bodyguard. He probably didn't see her as anything other than a job, but she couldn't help it. The way he made her feel safe. Not just physically, but in every way. Like as long as he was there, nothing could truly hurt her. The way he never judged her, never commented on her appearance, or her age, or her heritage. Just accepted her exactly as she was. The way he was always there, steady, reliable, the only constant in a world that felt like it was constantly trying to push her out. She was falling in love with Kim Tae-min, and she had no idea what to do about it. Meanwhile, Tae-min was experiencing something he'd never felt in his entire life. Confusion. He'd been hired to kill Chioma Kang. That was the mission. Simple, clear. He'd done it 17 times before with 17 different targets. Get close. Build trust. Find the perfect moment. Execute. Collect payment. Move on. Easy. Except nothing about this job was easy. Chioma Kang was supposed to be just another target. Another spoiled rich person who didn't deserve what they had. But she wasn't. She worked 18-hour days. Fell asleep at her desk sometimes. Pushed herself past exhaustion trying to run a company while grieving her father and dealing with a family that hated her. She was kind to her staff. Remembered their names. Asked about their families. When she made mistakes, she admitted them. Fixed them. Learned. She didn't deserve to die. And Tae-min realized, slowly, like a poison spreading through his system, that he didn't want to kill her. At first, he told himself he was just waiting for the perfect opportunity. That's all. But then he started finding reasons to delay. The timing wasn't right. Too many witnesses. Security was too tight. Excuses. Then he started actively preventing other people from killing her. That repairman hadn't been sent by her uncle. That was a real threat, a competitor trying to take advantage of the situation. Tae-min had eliminated the threat immediately. Why? He was supposed to want her dead. That was the job. But instead, he found himself positioned between her and the world, protecting her, making sure nothing touched her. And worse, so much worse, he'd started caring about things that had nothing to do with security. Whether she was eating enough, whether she was sleeping, whether someone had hurt her feelings. When her aunt called her a half-breed mistake, Tae-min had felt something he hadn't felt in 15 years. Rage. Not the cold, professional anger that came with the job. Real rage. Hot. Personal. The desire to hurt someone for causing Chioma pain. He'd never felt that before. Not for anyone. He started noticing other things, too. The way she looked when she smiled. Really smiled. Not the fake professional one. How her eyes lit up when she talked about something she cared about. The sound of her laugh on the rare occasions she forgot to be stressed. How she looked at him sometimes. Like he was a person, not just a tool. 3 months in, Tae-min finally admitted the truth to himself. He was falling for his target. No, he'd already fallen. He just hadn't noticed until it was too late. Kim Tae-min, Baiko, the White Tiger, the man who killed without feeling, was in love with Chioma Kang, the woman he'd been paid $7 million to murder, and he had absolutely no idea what to do about it. Because he had 2 choices: complete the mission, kill her, collect his payment, go back to being the emotionless killer he'd always been, or protect her, betray his client, destroy his reputation, probably get killed himself when her uncle sent someone else to finish the job. There was no middle ground. He couldn't have both. So Tae-min did what he'd never done before in his entire career. He stalled, kept making excuses to her uncle, kept saying he was waiting for the right moment, kept hoping that somehow, some way, he could figure out how to keep her alive without destroying everything. But time was running out. 4 months after Tae-min was hired, Kang Jae-sung's patience finally broke. He sat in his private office, staring at surveillance photos of Chioma and Tae-min. In every single photo, Tae-min was positioned protectively, looking at her, standing between her and potential threats. Not like a bodyguard waiting for an opportunity to kill. Like a bodyguard actually protecting. Jae-sung's hands clenched into fists. He pulled out his phone. Made a call. We need to meet. Tonight. The warehouse. We have a problem. That evening, Tae-min arrived at the same warehouse where he'd killed Park Min-ho 4 months ago. Jae-sung was already there, pacing like an angry animal. 4 months, Jae-sung said without preamble. 4 months, and she's not only alive, she's thriving. The company's doing better. The board is starting to accept her. You've failed. The situation is complex, Tae-min started. The situation is simple. Jae-sung's control shattered. You were supposed to kill her. Instead, you're protecting her. I've been watching Tae-min. I have eyes everywhere. You've stopped 3 actual attempts on her life. Threats that had nothing to do with me. Why? Silence. Answer me. I'm ensuring no one else completes the job before I do, Tae-min said, his voice flat. If someone else kills her, I don't get paid. Liar. Jae-sung stepped closer. I've done my research on you, Baiko. You're the best because you're emotionless, cold. You don't care about your targets. But this time you do care, don't you? Tae-min's expression didn't change. I care about my reputation. If this job fails, you're in love with her. The accusation hung in the air like smoke. Don't be ridiculous, Tae-min said coldly. I've seen the way you look at her, the way you position yourself. You're not looking for opportunities to kill her. You're protecting her. Genuinely protecting her. Jae-sung's smile was vicious. The famous White Tiger has fallen for his target. How pathetic. I'll complete the job. No, you won't. Jae-sung pulled out his phone. I'm cutting my losses. You failed. So I'm hiring someone else. Someone who won't fall for her sad eyes and half-breed sob story. Tae-min's blood went cold. If you hire another team, they'll kill her within the week. They don't have your weakness. They won't hesitate. Jae-sung started typing on his phone. Consider our contract terminated. Keep the money. Consider it payment for your failure. Wait. Oh, and Tae-min? Jae-sung looked up, his smile cruel. When my niece finds out that her beloved bodyguard was originally hired to kill her, when she learns that everything was a lie, that should destroy her almost as much as actually dying. Maybe that's punishment enough. He hit send on his phone. The new team will make contact with Chioma tomorrow. They'll pose as business partners. Get close. And unlike you, they won't fail. Jae-sung walked toward the exit, then paused. You know what the funny thing is, Tae-min? You fell in love with her, but she still doesn't know the truth. Doesn't know that the man she trusts most in the world was hired by her own uncle to murder her. When she finds out, and she will, it'll break her. He laughed. Maybe that's better than killing her. Maybe watching her heart break will be enough revenge. Then he was gone. Tae-min stood alone in that warehouse, his mind racing. A new team, coming for Chioma, within days. And she had no idea. He'd failed the mission, fallen in love with his target, and now he had two choices. Tell her the truth and watch her hate him. Or say nothing and let her die at the hands of killers who wouldn't hesitate like he had. Either way, he lost her. But at least one way, she stayed alive. Tae-min pulled out his phone, stared at Chioma's number. His thumb hovered over the call button. Then he made his choice. The next morning, Chioma was reviewing contracts in her office when Tae-min walked in and locked the door behind him. She looked up, surprised. He never locked the door. Ever. Tae-min, we need to talk. His voice was different, strained, almost afraid. That made her heart skip. Kim Tae-min was never afraid. Okay. She set down her pen, giving him her full attention. He stood across from her desk, his hands clenched into fists at his sides. For the first time in 4 months, he looked uncertain. Lost. There's something I need to tell you, he started, his voice rough. Something I should have told you months ago. But He stopped, took a breath. There's no easy way to say this. Fear crept up Chioma's spine. You're scaring me. Good. You should be scared. He finally looked at her directly. 4 months ago, your uncle hired me. But not to protect you. Chioma's blood went cold. What? He hired me to kill you. The words didn't make sense. Couldn't make sense. She stared at him, waiting for the punchline, the explanation that would make this make sense. It didn't come. What? She repeated, her voice smaller now. Your uncle, Kang Jae-sung, paid me $7 million to assassinate you and make it look like an accident. Tae-min's voice was steady now. Clinical? Like he was giving a mission report. He wanted the company. Wanted you gone so he could inherit. He hired me because I'm the best. Because I've done this 17 times before. Get hired as a bodyguard. Build trust. Find the perfect moment. Kill the target when they feel safe. Chioma couldn't breathe. The room was spinning. The attack that killed Mr. Kim, that was staged. I arranged it, made it look real so you'd be scared enough to hire protection. Then your uncle recommended me, got me close to you. The plan was to wait 3 or 4 months, then eliminate you when no one would suspect the bodyguard. No. Chioma shook her head. No, that's not. You saved me, multiple times. You've protected me. I know. Something cracked in his voice. That's the problem. I was supposed to kill you. But He stopped, looked away. I couldn't. Why are you telling me this? Tears burned in her eyes. Why now? Because your uncle fired me last night. He knows I failed, knows I won't complete the job. So he hired a new team. Tae-min looked at her, and for the first time, she saw real fear in his eyes. They're coming for you, Chioma. Real killers. People who won't hesitate like I did. They'll be here within days, maybe hours. You need to know the truth so you can protect yourself. Protect myself. Her voice rose, cracking. From who? From you? From my own uncle? From... The full weight of it hit her all at once. Her uncle, the only family member who'd been kind to her. Who'd called to check on her. Who'd seemed to care. He'd tried to have her killed. And the man she'd fallen in love with, the man she'd trusted more than anyone, had been hired to murder her. Get out! The words came out flat. Dead! Chioma! GT! Out! She was screaming now, standing, her whole body shaking. You were supposed to kill me. You, everything, all of this was a lie. Not all of it. Tae-min stepped forward. The protection was real. Every time I saved you, that was real. I stopped doing my job months ago. I've been protecting you, really protecting you. Because you what? Tears streamed down her face. Because you felt guilty. Because killing me became inconvenient. Because I fell in love with you. The words exploded out of him. I fell in love with you and I couldn't do it. I couldn't kill you. I couldn't even think about it without. He stopped, ran his hands through his hair. I'm a killer, Chioma. I've killed 73 people. I don't feel things. I don't care about people. But you— He looked at her, and his eyes were full of pain. You made me feel human again, and now you're in danger because I failed to kill you when I should have. Chioma stood there, sobbing, her whole world shattered into pieces she didn't know how to put back together. I don't know what's real anymore, she whispered. Was any of it real? The way you looked at me? The way you protected me? Or was it all just part of the job? It was real. His voice broke. All of it. Every moment. I swear to you, Chioma. I know you have no reason to believe me, but you're right. I don't— She wiped her tears angrily. Get out of my office. Get out of my life. I never want to see you again. Chioma, please, there are people coming to kill you. Then let them come. At least they're honest about wanting me dead. She was screaming again. At least they won't pretend to care about me first. Get out. Tae-min stood there for a long moment, looking at her with an expression she'd never seen on his face. Heartbreak. Then he turned and walked out, closing the door quietly behind him. Chioma collapsed into her chair, her whole body shaking with sobs. Her uncle wanted her dead. The man she loved was hired to kill her. Everything was a lie. She pulled out her phone with trembling hands, called the one person who might understand. It rang 3 times before her uncle answered. Chioma, how are you, dear? His voice was so warm, so caring, exactly like it had been for 4 months. Uncle, she said, her voice surprisingly steady, we need to talk. Can you come to the office? Of course. Is something wrong? Just come, please. I'll be there in 20 minutes. She hung up. And for the first time in her life, Chioma Kang felt something she'd never felt before. Not fear, not sadness, rage, pure, cold, calculating rage. Her uncle wanted her dead. Fine. But she wasn't going to die quietly. She was going to fight. 20 minutes later, Uncle Jae-sung walked into her office with his usual warm smile. Chioma, you sounded upset on the phone. What's— He stopped. Chioma sat behind her desk, her face completely calm. Too calm. And on the desk in front of her was a folder. Sit down, Uncle. Something in her tone made him hesitate. But he sat. What's this about? I know. 2 words. Simple, clear. His smile didn't waver. Know what, dear? I know you hired Kim Tae-min to kill me. I know you staged the attack that killed Mr. Kim. I know you want me dead so you can inherit the company. Her voice was steady. Cold? I know everything. Jae-sung's smile finally dropped. That's ridiculous. Who told you? Tae-min told me. This morning. He told me everything. And you believed him. Jae-sung laughed, but it sounded forced. He's a mercenary, Chioma. A killer. Of course he'd try to turn you against me. He showed me proof. She opened the folder. Bank statements, wire transfers, $7 million from Jae-sung's accounts to Tae-min's. Emails, text messages, everything. Tae-min had given her everything before he left. Jae-sung's face went white. You tried to have me killed, Chioma said quietly. Your own niece. Your brother's daughter. Because you wanted money. I deserve that company. The mask finally shattered. I'm the eldest. Your father should have given it to me, not some half-breed mistake he made with, get out. What? Chioma stood. Get out of my office. Out of my building. Out of my life. You're done. You can't. I can, and I am. She pressed a button on her phone. Security. Please escort Mr. Kang from the building. He's no longer welcome here. 2 security guards appeared at the door. Jae-sung stood, shaking with rage. This isn't over, you little— Yes, it is. Because unlike you, Uncle, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to try to kill you. I'm going to destroy you legally. She smiled, cold and sharp. I've already sent all of this evidence to the police. Attempted murder, conspiracy, fraud. You're going to prison. For a very long time. His face went from white to red. You're making a mistake. The only mistake I made was trusting you. She nodded to security. Get him out. They grabbed his arms. Started pulling him toward the door. This isn't over, he screamed. The door closed, cutting off his threats. Chioma stood alone in her office, her hands shaking. She'd done it, confronted him, exposed him, but she didn't feel victorious. She just felt empty. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her. Hello? Miss Kang, a man's voice. Cold, professional. My name is irrelevant. What matters is that I was hired to complete a job that Kim Tae-min failed. You have 24 hours. Use them wisely. The line went dead. Chioma's blood turned to ice. The new killers. They were here. She grabbed her phone, her fingers moving before her brain caught up. Called the one person who might be able to help. The person she'd told to leave and never come back. It rang once. Chioma? Taemin's voice was rough, like he'd been crying. Are you... They called me. The new team. They said 24 hours. Where are you? My office. Stay there. Lock the door. Don't let anyone in. I'm coming. Taemin, I know you hate me. I know you never want to see me again. But please, Chioma, please let me protect you one more time. After this, I'll disappear. I swear. Just let me keep you alive. She should say no. Should hang up. Should call real police, real security, anyone else. But the truth was, there was no one else. No one else who could stop trained assassins. No one else who knew how these people worked. No one else she trusted to actually keep her alive, even if she hated him. Okay, she whispered. But after this, we're done. I know, his voice cracked. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Don't open the door for anyone but me. He hung up. Chioma locked her office door and sat down, her whole body shaking. 24 hours. That's all she had left to live. Unless Tae-min, the man hired to kill her, could save her one more time. Tae-min arrived in 4 minutes. 3 hard knocks. It's me. Chioma unlocked the door. He slipped inside, immediately checking the windows, the air vents, every possible entry point. He looked different. Tired. His eyes were red. His usually perfect appearance was disheveled. He'd been crying. Tell me exactly what they said, he ordered. All business now. She repeated the phone call. He listened, his expression growing darker. They're trying to scare you, make you panic, make mistakes. He pulled out his phone. But 24 hours means they don't have a clear shot yet. They're still setting up. That gives us time. Time for what? To get you somewhere safe. Somewhere they can't reach you. He started typing rapidly. I have a safe house. Remote. Secure. We go there. Wait this out. Let me handle them. Handle them how? He looked at her directly. The same way I've handled threats for 15 years. Permanently. You're going to kill them. Yes. No hesitation. They won't stop, Chioma. Your uncle paid them. Even with him arrested, they'll finish the job because that's what professionals do. The only way to keep you safe is to eliminate the threat. She should be horrified. Should tell him no. But she was tired of being the target. Tired of being hunted. Do it, she said. Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise, maybe. We leave now, he said. Don't pack anything. Don't tell anyone. We just go. What about my company, my responsibilities? You can't run a company if you're dead. He moved to the window, checking the street below. Your life is the only thing that matters right now. Why? The question burst out before she could stop it. Why do you care? You were hired to kill me. You failed. Your reputation is ruined. Why not just walk away? He turned to look at her, and the raw emotion in his eyes made her breath catch. Because I love you, he said simply. I know you don't believe me. I know you think it was all fake, but it wasn't. I fell in love with you, and even if you hate me for the rest of your life, I need to know you have a life to live. So please, let me protect you. One last time. Chioma stared at him, her heart breaking and healing at the same time. She didn't know if she could forgive him, didn't know if she could ever trust him again. But right now, she was alive because he'd failed to kill her, and she wanted to stay alive. Okay, she said, let's go. The safe house was 2 hours outside Seoul. A small traditional Korean house in the mountains, surrounded by forest, isolated, defensible. Tae-min had weapons hidden everywhere. Guns, knives, supplies. It was clear he'd prepared for this possibility. Stay inside, he instructed. Don't go near the windows. Don't turn on lights after dark. I've set up perimeter alarms. If anyone comes within a mile, I'll know. And then what? Then I go hunting. He said it so casually, like hunting humans was normal. Maybe for him it was. They sat in tense silence as the sun set. Chioma on the small couch. Tae-min by the window, watching the forest. Can I ask you something? Chioma finally said. Anything. When did you decide not to kill me? He was quiet for a long moment. I don't think it was a decision. It was gradual. Every day I spent with you, the job got harder. At first I told myself I was just waiting for the right moment. Then I started making excuses. Then I started protecting you from other threats, and I realized I wasn't looking for opportunities to kill you anymore. I was looking for ways to keep you alive. When did you realize you loved me? 3 months in. You were working late. Fell asleep at your desk. I came to check on you, and you looked so peaceful, so vulnerable, and I thought about killing you right then. It would have been easy. Perfect opportunity. He turned to look at her. But instead I covered you with my jacket and let you sleep. That's when I knew I'd failed the mission, because I cared more about you being comfortable than I cared about completing my job. Tears stung Chioma's eyes. Everything you just said could be a lie. How do I know what's real? You don't. He turned back to the window. I can't prove my feelings. I can only prove my actions. I'm here. I'm protecting you. I'm going to kill anyone who tries to hurt you. And after this is over, I'll disappear from your life like you asked. That's all I can offer. Before Chioma could respond, Taemin tensed. What? Someone just tripped the perimeter alarm. Northwest sector, half a mile out. He grabbed a gun, checked the ammunition. Stay here. Stay down. Don't make a sound. Taemin... He looked back at her, and his expression was softer than she'd ever seen it. If I don't come back, there's a car hidden behind the house. Keys under the driver's seat. Drive to Seoul. Go to the police, tell them everything. The evidence will protect you. You're not going to die. Probably not, but just in case. He moved to the door. Chioma? Yes? I'm sorry for everything. I mean that. Then he was gone, disappearing into the dark forest like a ghost. Chioma sat alone in the dark safe house, her heart pounding so hard she could hear it, and she waited. Taemin moved through the forest like he'd been born in it. Silent, invisible. Every sense heightened. He found them 15 minutes later. 3 men, professional, well-armed, moving in tactical formation toward the safe house. Taemin smiled in the darkness. Amateurs sent by Jae-sung probably thought they were hunting a scared heiress. They had no idea they were being hunted by Baiko. He took the first one from behind. Quick, quiet, knife through the ribs. The man died without making a sound. The other 2 noticed immediately. Professionals, after all. Contact! Northeast! Taemin shot him. Headshot! Clean! The third man returned fire, bullets tearing through trees. Taemin was already moving. Flanking. Coming around. The man tried to run. Taemin shot him in the leg, dropped him, then walked up calmly and put a bullet in his head. 3 bodies. 3 minutes. He checked each one. Confirmed kills. Searched for phones, wallets, anything that might tell him if more were coming. Found a phone on the second man. Group chat. Just these 3. Good. That meant it was over. Taemin headed back to the safe house, his hands covered in blood, his clothes splattered with it. But Chioma was safe. That's all that mattered. He opened the door to find Chioma standing there, pale and shaking, holding one of the weapons he'd left for her. She lowered it when she saw him. Is it done? Yes. 3 men, all dead, no backup. You're safe. She stared at the blood on his clothes, on his hands, and instead of looking horrified, she looked relieved. Thank you, she whispered. You don't have to thank me. She crossed the room and threw her arms around him. Taemin froze, shocked. After everything, after the lies, the betrayal, the truth, she was hugging him. Thank you, she repeated, her voice muffled against his chest. Thank you for not killing me. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for telling me the truth, even though it destroyed everything. Slowly, carefully, Taemin's arms came up and wrapped around her. I'm sorry, he said into her hair. For all of it, I'm so sorry, I know. She pulled back to look at him. I'm still angry. I'm still hurt. I don't know if I can ever fully trust you again. But, she took a breath, you've saved my life 5 times now. You've protected me from my own family. You taught me I'm worth protecting. That means something. It means everything, he corrected quietly. They stood there in the small safe house, covered in blood and exhaustion, and broken trust that might somehow still be repairable. What happens now? Chioma asked. Now we go back, face everything. I'll testify against your uncle. Give the police everything I have. I'll probably go to prison for the things I've done. And after? He looked at her, hope and pain mixed together. That's up to you. Chioma didn't answer. Just held on to him a little tighter. She didn't know if she could forgive him completely. didn't know if they had a future. But right now, in this moment, she was alive. And the man who was supposed to kill her had chosen to save her instead. That had to count for something.